But Earl, you mentioned the bullpen and the tax that has been put on the bullpen this season, partly because the starting rotation outside of Tanner Bybee, for the most part, has just not lived up to par yet. Now, Ben Lively's been a pleasant surprise, don't get me wrong, but the guys you expected, McKenzie, Logan Allen, and Gavin Williams, just haven't been consistent enough up to this point of the season after Shane Bieber got knocked out with an injury. Earlier this week, Barstool Cleveland tweeted out this, and then a certain player responded. Barstool Cleveland asked, could Trevor Bauer be the answer to the rotation struggle? Bauer responded, obviously. He is gunning to get a job back in Major League Baseball. He's pitching in a Mexican baseball league at the moment. This has been brought up in bits and pieces on this show before with Jay and Bull, who have opposite ends of the spectrum opinions on this. So when they're on, it's impossible to have a discussion about it because it turns into those two kind of just bickering back and forth like an old married couple. So I want to spend a few minutes with you guys in particular. Would you be open to bringing Bauer back as a potential starting arm to allow the bullpen to theoretically get a little more rest, or is that something you want nothing to do with?
All right, so I'll start. First of all, his response was hilarious. But
obviously.
I know the question is what I would do. That response right there is part of the reason why the Cleveland Guardians don't want anything to do with Trevor Bauer. I think a lot of people assume that the allegations and everything that he went through, off the diamond is why the Guardians wouldn't touch him. The Guardians were fed up and done with this dude before any of that had even surfaced, before any of that stuff had even came to light. For them, it was just a final nail in the coffin or a double down of, okay, if you think we ain't messing with him before, we really not messing with him now. Now, would I do it? Hell yeah. He 10-0. His whip is like 0.97. He got over 100 strikeouts in the Mexican League. And if he can help this team right now win, I would do it if I was the GM. But to be clear, because we have this conversation all the time, there is nobody, in my opinion, in the Cleveland Guardians front office that wants anything to do with Trevor Bauer for any reason. And it don't have anything to do with what he's been through recently. It's just probably because of his attitude, the lack of maturity, and the things that they went through with him while he was a member of this team.
This is a very easy one. One of my main theses in sports is I always say this: at any given time, there are only 25% of the teams trying to win. The rest of the teams is going through the motions. And what I mean going through the motions is picking and choosing who they want to play, picking and choosing, or the optics of it. If you are a person that is hell-bent on winning, all it takes is a conversation like a man. What happened to regular conversations? Hey, look, Trevor, there's some things that you was doing in the past we didn't like. X, Y, and Z. We brought you in here because we think you can help us win and get a job done. We don't want to see boom, 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 and boom. He gives his opinion, his thought process on that, and he comes in and pitches. If he messes up, you get rid of him. It don't cost you no money. At the end of the day, people have to have a pursuit of winning, even though you may not see eye to eye with people. There's people that work across in all fields, in offices and cubicles. And John don't like Susie, and Susie don't like Sarah, and Sarah don't like Paul. Guess what? The supervisor comes in and say, listen, we trying to get some things done. This quarter need done by the end of the day. We need to get these amount of calls done. It is what it is. Let's have a conversation. Let's get it done. You ain't got to like nobody. But if you looking at the Cleveland Guardians and you say you ain't got no money and you don't want to give up no prospects, right? We just talked about that.
We did.
We don't got money. We like our prospects. Well, what's the other way you can improve your team? You can go on the open market and you find guys and try to get some guys to come in here. You got one right there. Now, you willing to swallow your pride? Are you willing to overlook some stuff? Are you willing to just say, okay, we got a good enough locker room? Go to Jose. You say you like him so much. You revere Jose. He the man in the locker room. Hey, Jose, what you think about Trevor Bauer? You ain't going to ask him because you know what Jose might say. Bring him in. You don't want that, though. You want to win on your terms. That's what happens a lot in sports. And if it was me, you already know. Just by my thesis statement, I am G. Bush. And I endorse that statement.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I think both of y'all are right. Is there issues within the organization? Absolutely. But I think G is right as well when you say, if I'm trying to win, then it's by any means necessary. If you owe that to the guys in the locker room. If this guy can come in here and improve it, be an upgrade at your pitching, then you definitely got to take that opportunity to do so. Listen, for him, it's not like he gonna come in here and be on some BS.
Like, it's his only shot.
First of all, this is my last shot. Like, if I don't do well, I will never see it again. This is. I don't understand why you think he would come in here.
It's actually zero cost. Actually, it's a lower probability that he will do it again. He's already been got the scarlet letter on.
I mean, you think about this. You come into a team that's tied up for the best record in the AL. You got a chance. You're going to the playoffs, and I can be a part of that. And they're giving me an opportunity, even if it don't work out here. If I do well, first of all, I want to do well because I want everybody in the major league to give me another opportunity. So I'm pitching typically for my career right now. So you're going to get the best things of me. I want you to speak highly of me. The best thing that can come out of this is, man, Trevor Bauer, we had a lot of pushback about signing him. But since he's been here, he's been great. He's been a great teammate, and he's been great on the mound. You know what happens with that? Boom, now he gets his contract. So I don't think he would be on some trash if you did sign him. But if you got other people, if you're making the trades and there's other guys in the MLB making trades, then all right, skip it. But if you ain't making no moves and this is what you left with, I don't see why you wouldn't take it because there's nothing bad that can come out of it. Worst case scenario, he's a cancer in the locker room. You know what you do? Cut him, boom, he's done.
I agree with both of y'all because if I was the GM, I would sign him too. But I just feel like the Guardians are not rocking with him. And then when you look on social media and you see him with that smart-ass response, obviously
he's hilarious.
That does nothing to mend the fences between what's already really bad relationship.
You know what I would do? I would say that cost you $100,000 since you want to be a smart ass.
I was going to sign you for $1.1 million. It's $999,000.
Yeah, take it or leave it.
And I'm paying you in pennies.
Yep, take it or leave it.
For me, to me, I look at it. And it makes obvious. See, they should be playing reverse Jedi mind tricks on these guys, right? If I'm the GM, I'm like, listen, I look great coming out of this because I'm going to say, look, Trevor knows he was a jerk here. He know what he was doing. But we came back and gave him, when you a person, that's why the thing about grudges, right? Mm-hmm. When you forgive people and they be mean to you and you know they played you and you know they was doing extra and then you say, man, you know what? I probably played a role in that. Man, I forgive you. Come on back.
Okay, so let's talk about grudges then, right?
Because
let's ask, and y'all can ask the UCSS. Man, first of all, the chat is hilarious today. 32. I am listening to y'all. But listen,
hold on.
So let's talk about grudges, right? I still hold a grudge against Jose Mesa for 1997. I'm a Scorpio to my heart, right? Let's talk about grudges. Let's talk about being irresponsible. Y'all are fans of this team too. Mm-hmm. You still feel some type of way towards Trevor Bauer for 2016?
No.
You don't? Mm-mm. If Trevor Bauer didn't bust up his finger playing with a drone, who's to say that we don't have to pitch Corey Kluber 3 games the way that we did, right? Trevor Bauer was good that year. He was a consistent contributor. Yeah. Because you wanted to go play around at the absolute wrong time of the season, you can argue that contributed towards us not winning the World Series.
Well, I could be a little salty at you, but at the end of the day, the people on the field that you playing got to play too.
I mean, true. I'm not arguing against what y'all saying. I just think that I've come to this realization that regardless of for whatever reason they're not rocking with this dude. And so we can sit up here and clamor all day long about Trevor Bauer getting a shot. And if we was in charge, we would give him a shot. But they was not rocking with him a long time ago. They're not rocking with him now.
To Earl's point, and I was not here during the time, but I have heard it was him and Clevenger in the locker room in a corner by themselves, and it was the other 24 guys who were tight, and those two were just off on their own. So I'm not sure how many friends he technically has.
I mean, we know he ain't got no friends. Listen, the last throw we ever gonna see of him in the Indians/Guardians when he threw that pitch, he threw that ball clear over center field. That was the last. So that boy Tito looked at him like he was crazy. That boy took that ball and threw it right over center field. I was like, it was impressive. First of all, it was very impressive. But Tito looked at him like, "Is you crazy?"
Look, and to me, like I always stated, you got to do something. Like there's never a team. And I'll always say this too. Like, I go to any championship team. There's some people there's gonna be one guy on every championship team that's a little off, a little quirky, little.
You need that guy.
You gotta have it. Like,
They ain't playing with drones though.
well, no, some of them is out drinking and hanging out before the games, right? Some of them is doing extra stuff besides playing with drones, right? Like, there's gonna be but you gotta have the locker room and the guys in there. One thing I always look at it is like this. And this is my problem. This is my problem that I have when people want players to take discounts, right? The fans clamor, take a discount, take a discount, take a discount. Well, Jose Ramirez took your discount. And you've done nothing to extend his chances to win a championship. So he gave back a bunch of money, right? But they won't trade the prospects. Heck, they even asked the new guy, Bazzano, hey, let me pay you a little extra. And I know they slotted so they could get extra people. Listen, they always looking for a deal. They want to go to the highest priced restaurant and give coupons. No, Guardians, you can't give coupons over at Morton's. They don't got none. They don't got no 5-star Michelin restaurants don't give coupons. You go there, you pay for what it's worth. You always trying to get a deal. You got one on Jose. It's time to pay that back in something. Prospects, free agents, whatever you got to do. You got to get some people in here to bolster this roster.
We asked the chat, and we'll move on, talk Cavs for a sec. Should the Guardians consider bringing back Trevor Bauer? 75% of the chat said yes, they would, for what it's worth.